Lots of text messages coming through as well. Hi, guys. Big shout out to Michelle. I really love hearing her opinions on our wonderful game we call rugby league. Thanks, Michelle, and have a wonderful rest of the week, says Paul.
Oh, thank you, Paul. That's nice.
Thank you, Paulie. On to the rugby league news we go. Now, Michelle, the 2025 World Cup was slated for the US and Canada, but the offer was withdrawn due to financial concerns. Australia and PNG will now host the tournament.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's going to be in our own backyard. And I think giving PNG a bit of a taste of the future, I guess, that'll be awesome as well. So count me in.
The International Rugby League has confirmed the Pacific Nation will be the only other country to stage matches for the event, which is talking about PNG, of course, which will be the last time men's, women's and wheelchair competitions are played at the same tournament. With New Zealand not slated to host matches in the World Cup, the Australian Rugby League Commission will prioritise its Pacific push by staging matches in PNG. Mal Meninga was on the show with Jimmy today, the throwdown on a Thursday. Here's what he had to say, Mal, about Australia and PNG hosting the World Cup.
I believe it's going to be 2 pools. Okay,
right.
5. We'll play 4 games. At this stage, if PNG is in our pool, well, then we'd go probably play PNG on their home soil. So all the games that Papua New Guinea will be involved with will be up in Papua New Guinea.
Yep.
So if we happen to be part of that pool, I would imagine we'll be up there playing. So, and all the other games, obviously, where Papua New Guinea's not involved, will be down here around Australia.
What do you think about that, Michelle?
Oh, I'll tell you what. You know what? One of the highlights of my career was the UK, the Kangaroos tour with Mal Meninga. He's just the pinnacle. And a big shout out to Don Furner, Ricky Stewart and the guys at the Raiders there for bringing him home. He was announced as a Raider number 76 ambassador for the club. Going to work on pathways and all sorts of things there. We know he's had a fair bit to do with the Titans over the last couple of years, but he's back home at the Roosters, and I think he'll be an absolute wonderful addition to the Green Machine.
Here. Sharks re-signed star back. So this guy here, he'd been in the wings, couldn't crack a start when they were playing Sasifa Talakai in the centres. Of course, Jesse Ramian's got a mortgage on the right centre position, but he cracked it this year. Rookie Kayal Iro has signed a 2-year deal with the Sharks, keeping the centre at the club until at least the end of 2026. 2 tries in 14 games this season. That's not really telling the story. He's a wonderful young player. He scored in the win over the Tigers in round 19, and as I said, pushed Talakai in the second row. Interchange, who's been great for the Sharkies as well, coming off the duty bench. You like that, Michelle?
I do like that. He is a sensation, and it's also good to see that, position's tight there because it always means for a healthy club.
Michelle, I've crunched the numbers, and South Sydney and the Raiders who meet on Sunday.
Oh, this is like, you know what? I have to be honest. I'm going to just put it out there. It's on my Instagram. I put a picture up of the 2 boys. They're like sons to me because I am old enough. But Hudson Young and Jack Whiten taking on each other. Both of them text me back straight away. But I'm like, I can't watch. I love the Raiders, but obviously Jackie Boy is one of my favourites. And to see them 2 go to head, it's seriously going to be like seeing my 2 sons go head to head. And I can't watch.
Massive
Let
game.
me know when it's over.
Well, one of your sons, Jackie Whiten, and I think people don't really appreciate what he's achieved. So he's the only current player to have won a Clive Churchill and a Dally M.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Cleary hasn't done it.
No.
Daly Cherry Evans hasn't done it. Tom Trebojevic hasn't done it. James Tedesco hasn't done it. He's the only player.
And I'm also in awe of the way he just kept himself together, obviously making the switch. Big call to leave the Raiders, heading to South, going into an absolute cesspit, because that's what it was when he went there. It was messed up. And I'm sure, not that he's ever said it to me, I'm sure he was, sort of second guessing himself. But to be able to, stick in there and be as staunch as he was and not take up the offer to go and play State of Origin. He committed to the Bunnies. That's just what type of bloke he is. He committed to the Bunnies. He saw it through and he stuck solid, and they're on the back end of something quite special now, which I think is awesome.
Okay, what about this, Michelle? So I've gone to the SEN stat boffins, and
you love a stat.
The percentage chance, probability, actuaries have been involved in this. The percentage chance for both Canberra and South to make the finals is 11%. So
yeah, that's fair.
So they're each at 11%, which 11%'s not impossible. 1 in 10, close enough to
great.
that. Yeah, but the winner takes a giant leap. The loser, fat red pen, ta-da, Tatiana Western Webb.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm really, I'd love to see the Raiders, but at the moment they just They're frustrating, really frustrating. Yeah. I mean, they've got players back, but they, still don't win pretty. Look, I'm an optimist, but yeah, let's see how it all pans out. As I say to you, I'm really glad that Souths have been able to turn things around the way they have. I think it's huge, and as quickly as what they have as well.
Yeah, righto, Optimus Prime. Let's go into this then, because I think that this will hinge on largely how this weekend goes, because Latrell Mitchell's hopes of playing again this season have been given a massive boost after meeting with a specialist on Tuesday. Mitchell has been told he's likely to miss 3 more games because of the foot injury, which ruled him out of Origin 3. There were fears he could have to undergo surgery. It's not going to be the case. He'll miss the clash against Canberra on Sunday, but has a chance to return for the Rabbitohs in round 24 to take on the West Tigers. So there you go. I get the sense if they don't win this weekend, he won't be coming back. If they keep winning, well, you never know what can happen there. Thoughts, Michelle?
Well, I mean, they need to. He's been an absolute inspiration for them. They seem to perform with him in the side. So look, you know what? I've written Souths off already this year, unfortunately.
Okay. Daily Telegraph reporting that, by the way. The Broncos lure Ben Teo back to Red Hill. So there's been a bit of coming and going. Travis Main through the Courier Mail. He writes, Teo will move cross town and join Walter. So he's with the Dolphins at the moment, I believe. Join Walter's coaching staff next year as an assistant following the departure of John Cartwright, who's going to Hull FC to coach. Lee Breeze is going to St Helens to the Super League. Both those people are going to the Super League. Walters is also understood to be considering Parramatta interim coach Trent Barrett for another assistant's role for next season. And by the way, there was a chat this morning with Brandy and Vossi with Kevy Walters, who is great talent, Michelle. Very sincere, very honest in what he says. What a wonderful bloke he is for the game.
Oh, I love him. He's a sensation. And he's similar to every coach in the NRL at the moment. They've all had, a lot of them have had injuries this year, which is sort of pull your hair out stuff. I felt a bit sorry for him with the Selwyn Cobbo, when Selwyn Cobbo came out and sort of said he's a great bloke but can't coach. And then obviously we saw that big, massive turnaround with the Broncos. Adam Reynolds has copped a lot of the accolades for that, but he must be doing something right there, Kevy. And you just did touch on Trent Barrett. There's some rumours there that he might not see the rest of the season out. Unhappy that he didn't get the head coach's role there at Para. Yeah, I saw that come up on Fox Sports not so long ago, so that's not coming from me. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out, him not sticking around for the rest of the year. There seems to be a bit of angst there at the moment with obviously Matt Arthur wanting to switch clubs, given the way his dad was treated, Brad Arthur. Mixed feelings on that one too.
We're calling the game tomorrow at CommBank Stadium. We're going to broadcast the show from CommBank. Actually, Fletch is going to be there. Geez, I tell you what, Michelle, now you say that's fascinating, because if the coach is feeling that way, you've got players on the out, this could be no need for an alibi tomorrow night. If it's a tough scenario, when you know you can't make the 8, when you know there's players being shopped around, it is really, really hard to get up against a buttoned-up team like the Melbourne Storm, isn't it?
I could dead set only imagine it be like a preschool with kids all focused on other things and doing other stuff, and just the coach not being able to, or the teacher not being able to gain control of the class. It must be difficult with all the changes, because I know there for a long time there was a bit of frustration and angst in the coaching staff, not knowing whether they had a future, whether they were sticking around with Jason Riles coming in. So, I mean, and when you think about it, this is fair income stuff. This is people, those coaching staff, they have kids in schools and may have to move location, all that sort of stuff. So it's not just, I'm working here this year and not next year. And they did take a little while, to decide who the new coach was going to be, which they were well entitled to. I just hope that this is the defining moment for the Parramatta Eels, that they can actually start something special and be the mighty club that they once were. Substitute teacher you're talking about. It is hard. Oh, we all had one of them. We all had one. I loved it. I know. But especially when they were young. That's terrible, isn't it?
But Michelle, sometimes the substitute teacher just wants to go in there and go, how easy can I get out of this? Like, sometimes if the classroom's so far gone, how easy can we find our way out of this situation? Especially if they went into a troubled classroom. Yeah, that's what he's going into right now. What do you make of this, Michelle? So if he was to leave, I don't know how many clubs have had 3 coaches in one year, but if he was to leave, what happens? Like, what?
Look, you know what? Knowing Trent Barrett, if it came to the crunch, I'm not sure that he would, because I think he'd sort of do the numbers and sort of, and not this is not on a financial basis.
If you're training, Michelle, sorry to interrupt, but if you're training and you're looking around and going, these guys are checked out. They're checked out, and I am absolutely flogging a dead horse here. I could understand because
you can understand it, yeah.
If that's the case, I don't know that's the case. I don't know that's the case, but if that's the case, you could understand where he's starting to go, well, this is actually not defaming him, but it's certainly not putting him in a great light. In saying
but then I put the other equation to you, and that is a future employee looking and saying, well, you know what, he gave up, he walked away, he didn't see the job out.
Correct.
So he's kind of in a catch-22 situation, really. If it was me and knowing Trent Barrett, I reckon he will stick it out. We've all been in situations that are uncomfortable in some time, some period, and you've got to weigh up what's going to be best for your future. And for mine, it'd be showing a potential employer that you're capable of, going through the hard times, finishing a job, and leaving something, in a responsible manner.
By the way, the term catch-22, it relates to a book. That's where it was a novel called Catch-22, talking about the situation of what do you do? That's where that meaning comes from. Catch-22, Joseph Heller in 1961. Let's go to the Bulldogs. Now, the Bulldogs, the NRL has rejected a bid from the Bulldogs. This is according to Michael Carianis in the Daily Telegraph, to have the Bulldogs sign Catlins forward, Siwa Taukeiaho, to join the club immediately. Essentially the reverse of what John Bateman has done. It is the second time the Bulldogs have unsuccessfully tried to secure the former Roosters forward in as many times this season.
I'm confused about this one.
Yeah, so Taukeiaho was sacked by the Catlins early this month.
Yeah, for not going to training. He went to a concert.
Yes, skipped training.
So my issue here is what's the NRL's reasoning for them not allowing the Bulldogs to sign him up? Because if the Bulldogs see that not as a problem, that's their problem to deal with. That if he doesn't turn up at training and goes to a concert here or does something similar, they're bad. So I don't understand how the NRL have said no. It's I've got to get across that one. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But on the other side of things, though, like you might say, we've got this great thing going on the Bulldogs. Do we want a player who's pretending to be ill to skip training to go to a concert? That's
what I'm saying. But they want him there. That's up to them, and the bad's on them if that unfolds. That's Correct. Their problem for not doing their homework correctly, or for believing that he might be a different character at their club. But I don't see why the NRL should be intervening.